The moment the crow lands on your shoulder, you know it's too late, because she has already decided your fate. She is the Morrigan, the Phantom Queen, sovereign of war, weaver of doom, prophet of death, and tonight she comes for you. Not born in cradle or womb, but forged in dread, she rose from the ancient gods of Ireland, the Tuatha De Danann. Her name comes from the old words for terror and queen, Morrigan, a name that stirs blood in warriors. Later scribes softened it, calling her the Great Queen, as if power needed gilding. In early glosses, they called her a night demon, a hag who preys on mortals. Long before the banshee wailed, the Morrigan whispered of death on the battlefield. 3 sisters, one fate, Badb, the battle crow, who brings madness, Macha, queen of the land, who demands kings and sacrifice, Nemain, the chaos that breaks armies from within. Together, they are the Morrigan, daughters of darkness, mothers of destiny, but only one will speak your name when death draws near. Could you face a sister of war and live? She found him at a mountain ford, Cú Chulainn, the Hound of Ulster. Young, proud, unstoppable. She appeared as a woman in red, driving cattle with coats like royal banners. He challenged her. He struck her chariot. And then she smiled, not with kindness, but with certainty. I will be there, at your death, she said. It was no threat. It was a promise. This is the tale of the cattle raid of Nemain, where gods test heroes. His pride earned a prophecy, more deadly than any blade. On the field of the great cattle raid, she came as an eel. He crushed her coils underfoot, ribs snapped, and she vanished. She came as a wolf. He hurled a stone, it struck her eye, and she fled, howling. She came as a red heifer, hornless, wild with fury. He broke her leg with cold iron. 3 wounds, 3 retreats, but gods do not forget. When the battle was over, she returned, but not as a warrior, as a crone, an old woman, quiet and bent by time. She stood by the stream, milking a cow in the fading light. Cú Chulainn approached, tired, wounded, unaware of who she was. She offered him milk. He drank, and with every sip, her wounds began to heal. The rib he had broken, mended. The eye he had struck, clear again. The leg he had shattered, now whole. Then he knew. He had healed the goddess he had harmed, and she was gone, her laughter echoing in the dusk. At the end of a hero's path, she waits, by the water, alone, washing armor, still streaked with blood. This is no fairy tale, no trick of the light. It is a promise, from a goddess. Before the stories of the Ben Neya crossed the sea to Scotland, there was the Morrigan, the first washer at the ford. She did not mourn the fallen, she prepared for their fall. And when the bird lands nearby, you understand. Your fate is already sealed. The gods were at war, and the Morrigan stood with them. On the eve of Samhain, she met the Dagda at the river's edge. There they joined, a union of power and purpose, to bind the land to the gods. Then she vanished into the mist. At the height of battle, she faced the Fomorian king, Indesh. She struck him down. His strength faltered, his army broke. It said, she scattered them like leaves in the wind. And then she cried out, a cry so wild, so terrible, The earth itself seemed to answer. The Tuatha De Danann rose, and the Fomorians were driven into the sea. Victory came on the wings of her voice. After the battle, she walked the land. Peace, she whispered. Peace to the sky, peace to the earth, peace to the sea. And for a moment, the world listened, but her voice changed. She spoke of summer without flowers, of men without courage, of children who forget their kin. A warning, not for that day, but for a time yet to come. When bonds break, she said, the world will bleed. And then she was gone. The Morrigan may be rooted in ancient myth, but her presence still lingers in the world around us. We may not see battlefields anymore, but conflict and fate haven't gone away. In boardrooms, we watch quiet struggles for power. A glance, a decision, a moment that changes everything. In protests, voices rise with force and fury. They carry something older than anger, a call for change and a challenge to those who rule. Even in hospitals, where life and death are measured in heartbeats, we see calm decisions made under pressure, with a kind of certainty that feels beyond human. We don't call it prophecy, or war, or fate, but something moves beneath the surface, something that watches and waits. The Morrigan hasn't vanished. She's only changed her shape, and perhaps she still asks the same question. What will you do when your moment comes? She never truly leaves, not when the fighting ends, not when the voices fall silent, not even when peace returns. She waits, just beyond the edge of what we see, and sometimes a black feather falls. You don't know where it came from, you don't know why you notice it, but you do. And for a moment, you wonder, if you pick it up, what will follow? Because the Morrigan still watches, and when she chooses without mercy.